What's going on, people? Ben and Brittany here from benandbrittany.net, and what a weekend we had, right?
For sure.
Oh my gosh. So, for those of you who don't know, we did our very first wine deliveries this weekend. And what we do is we just let people sign up on our website to get free wine in our area. If you're close enough to us and there's enough people around you, we will just bring you the wine that we've been making because we want to share it and see what you guys think so we can eventually make the best wine possible and someday be able to open up our own winery. That's our lifelong dream. That's why we're doing it. And we just did our first 30 deliveries on Saturday. Today is Sunday. And
Yeah.
I was like, Brittany, it can't take longer than like 4 hours. Like,
And I
no
was
way.
like, I think it's going to be more like 8. Like, this is going to be an all-day excursion. I wanted to get up at like 7 a.m., be out the door by 9.
Yeah, and we weren't.
No.
We got up at like 9.
Yeah.
And we got out the door at like 11:30, 12, right?
We left at 11, but we did stop to get breakfast.
We got breakfast and all that good stuff, and then we started doing our route. What we do is I use Google My Maps, and everybody that signs up gives me their address, and then I upload everything to Google My Maps, and it puts these blips on a map for me all over the place, and then I get to choose where the most concentrated areas are, and that's where we go. So this time we went to Carlisle, Pennsylvania, Mechanicsburg, and Enola, and Mount Holly Springs.
And Gardeners.
So like all those areas, we kind of did a big loop, a giant circle, and it took us all day long. We didn't get home until 10 o'clock at night. Given the fact that we did stay, hang out, and chat with people along the way. Like that was the coolest thing that we didn't expect. Like half the people we delivered to were outside.
Right.
And we were just like, yo! We did some pictures. We just hung out and chatted. We met some old friends, Chris and Steve Myers, and spent like an hour and a half at their house.
We ended up putting a good at their house. But yeah, I mean, we weren't really thinking about it because it's a nice day. It was the perfect day weather-wise that we've had in a long time. So we've had like a lot of rain. And so a lot of people, because it's quarantine, you have nowhere else to go. So they were all hanging outside, doing yard work or just sitting already enjoying a glass of wine on their porches, or a couple people were like working on cars,
doing yard work. Oh, Frank Wright, we gave him a bottle of wine and he was working on his car, and he said the day before his 2-year-old son came outside and took a screwdriver to the side of the car and was like, look, I fixed it. Did I do a good job? And he was like, oh my God.
And he has like a nice Mustang.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't, I mean, not that you would want that on any car, but that was
super funny. And then because he had an upside down, like a little kid bike next to his car, and he was like, that's what he works on now.
It was great.
Yeah. So all in all, like it was a great Saturday. It took a lot out of us, but like we would do it all the time. Like we're gonna keep making wine and keep making deliveries, and I think that
and keep giving it out for free because we can't legally sell it until we have a license anyways. And our thought is, this is too much for us to drink by ourselves.
Yeah.
Unless
we were alcoholics, like hardcore alcoholics.
And then B, the best way to get really good at something is to keep doing it over and over and over and over again. And, you know, our palates are our palate. So we're limited to 2 taste testers if it's just Ben and I constantly taste testing the wine and figuring out what we think we could do better. How much more improvement can we make if we can share it with as many people as possible and kind of get their feedback, their opinions.
Because what I like might not be good at all to a lot of other people. You know?
And naturally, of course, we want to make sure we like it too.
Yeah, true.
But with that said, the best way to get really great at something is for us to keep practicing and just figuring out all the quirks. And I think we've done really great so far.
I think we did. Like before we started making wine, like I just did so much research that like I wanted to go into it like, if I take everything that I've learned and just don't mess up, like this will be good. And it ended up being good, and we were super proud. And now, like now that we have the wine and we have the labels and everything, all the work that went into it, now we're trying to share it. And there's a whole nother list of things that we have to encounter then, like at first the form didn't work.
Right.
And
We had a
people
bunch
were
of
giving us like
people
fake
submit-
addresses and stuff.
Right. Or their addresses just didn't come through. And I
it was
think a
incomplete.
lot of it has to do too with the autofill on like your cell phone. I think a lot of like the autofill sometimes doesn't work correctly.
Yeah.
So we were running into issues like that. But I think the lessons that we've learned so far, we're going to have so much stuff ironed out by the time that we can get a license and like become an official business. And it's super exciting for me to see how much work Ben has put into the research. And then him and I have had countless conversations on like the bottling and the labeling and just how we want our brand to be perceived. And it's just super cool to see it like happening, even though we can't sell it. But when we were putting faces to the names that were coming through and just kind of getting an idea of like, what does our following actually look like?
Yeah, what?
Like, and we got to meet them, and they were all people just like us. And
Yeah.
I think that made me feel better too. Like, okay, what we're doing is exactly what we wanted to do, which was people who are on our level who like to drink wine. Like, we wanted to make wine for people like that. Mm-hmm. And it's awesome.
Yeah. Should we tell them about our vision for
Yeah.
like the bottle and everything?
Yeah.
Okay, listen, people. I'll take the floor on this one.
Before you get started, yesterday was the first day that I saw Ben do like a full-on sales pitch on our wine.
It wasn't a sales pitch.
But
We were talking with.
I mean, it was a sales pitch.
It might have sounded like one, but.
But he did so good. I was so proud. I was like, here's months of hours of research. And like Ben was just so confident. I don't know. It was a proud wife.
I mean, but like now you're putting the pressure on me because like I didn't have a sales pitch set up for this. So what Brittany's talking about is we went and met with some old friends of ours, Chris and Steve Myers, and they have an Amazon business where they sell books. So if you guys know anybody who's getting rid of a bunch of books, give me a call. I'll hook you up with Steve. They'll take them. And we were just talking with them. They're very business-minded people, and they started asking us questions about like, what do you do? Like, what's your plan? And like, our plan is to break all the rules with wine. Like, I personally am not a fan of the 750 ml glass bottles that you got to cork and everything, because like once you uncork them, like they're open, and you have to buy a special device to reseal it, and you can't carry it anywhere. You can't like throw it in your purse. You can't reseal it easily. Like,
it's not easy to travel with if you want to give bottles as gifts.
Can't sneak it into a movie theater
Right.
like you can this. I don't condone that, but you know what I mean.
Oh, I do.
Oh.
I'll put my name behind that.
Yeah, but anyway, like we wanted to make an affordable, like whenever we do get our license, we want our wine to be affordable, and we want it to be
Portable.
as easy and convenient as possible and portable. Like you can grab a couple of these and go to your friend's pool, no problem. Like it's kind of awkward to lug a bottle around. Like you can't do that with a 750 ml bottle. You can't toss it to your friends, take a sip, take a drink, throw it over here. Like you can reseal this. Like you can drink it on a hike. You can take a sip, put it back in your backpack. Like that's what we love about it. And I think there's the reason that I wanted to touch on that was because a lot of people have this thing like, okay, glass bottles are what preserves the wine. Like it's not breathable like plastic is. It'll spoil in plastic. And the reason we don't care about that is because 90% of Americans drink wine the day they buy it. They go to Wine and Spirits or whatever local liquor store, and they get their bottle of wine and they go home and drink it. 90% of people consume their wine in the first day. 95% in the first week. It'll take 6 months for this wine to spoil in plastic bottles. And we're not in any kind of position in our careers. We're giving this shit away for free, you know? So like they're sample bottles, but like they were designed originally to just be sample bottles, and we were like, oh, we'll put them in glass eventually, but like I don't know if I want to anymore.
Yeah,
like,
we've decided that we're pretty much leaning towards where we would sell them single, and like beer, single, 6-pack, 24-pack.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, like a
keep it
6-pack
in an affordable price range.
like this. Like wrapped up in a nice 6-pack. Like I think that I would rather buy wine like this than like a bottle, because it's just like, it's wine on a beer.
You can bring this on your boat. You don't gotta worry about glass breaking.
Yeah, I don't know what I was trying to say. It's like wine on a beer budget, but like it's not a beer budget. It's just it's like beer in the sense that it's a 6-pack. But yeah, so we're just having the time of our lives. Like we we get to make wine, and then Brittany and I just get to scheme on how we're gonna build this lifestyle, and like eventually it's gonna become our retirement thing. Hopefully, like we're gonna work towards that. So
yeah,
you guys have been great. All the taste testers that signed up, we had over 200 submissions.
And we're asking for more, because the more concentrated an area is, the more likely we'll be able to deliver to that area. Because like if we only have 3 people an hour away, that's hard for us to be able to manage that drive and be able to deliver as many as we want to deliver. Because we're trying to get this into as many hands as we can afford.
Yeah, because it costs a lot of money to make the wine, and time and money. It takes a
lot of time.
And we're giving it away for free. So the more concentrated, like if you tell your entire neighborhood to sign up, and you're within an hour drive of us, like pretty good chance we're coming.
Right, because then we can knock out like 20 deliveries.
Yeah, like that's how it's going to work for us. So once again, we upload all the information, all the signups up into Google Maps. And wherever the most blips are on that map is where we go. So that's our system in a nutshell.
Pretty simple.
Yeah.
But I think what I like the most is a lot of times people talk about dreams, and then they talk about them.
And then they talk about them some more.
But they don't actually take the steps to do it. And I'm just, I wouldn't have started this if I didn't have Ben and his motivation. Like
I wouldn't have started it without you.
Like he's just so gung-ho about it, and I just love it. Because like once Ben gets his mindset to something, he was like, we need to start making wine today,
and we need to do this, and it's going to be great forever, and we're going to retire with it, and right now.
I mean, it was a good point though, because you were like, if we wanted to retire in 10 years, year 10, right? Like when this dream is supposed to happen, there's no way that we could get a license and build a business and a brand in just a year. Like we need the time to do that. And I think, that's something a lot of people can model after. Whatever your dream is, your passion is, maybe you're thinking, well, this is my retirement plan, kind of like Ben and I, or it's just something you'd like to get into more down the road. Like you have to start now, even if it's small.
Absolutely.
Even if it's just sharing your craft for free, or maybe in small batches, like at
absolutely. Like if whatever makes
fairs, like whatever you can do just to kind of start getting your product out there and getting that feedback, so you can constantly improve. I just think it's such a huge step forward.
100%. I think whatever makes you tick. Like our thing is wine. Like you might like making furniture, or like doing woodworking, or crafts, or making jewelry, like whatever it is.
Was it Chris telling us about the guy? He was telling us there's this guy that just loved pickles. Like he just really liked pickles, and he started making his own pickles, and like now he's selling his pickles like across the country.
Yeah, because he just made pickles because he loved pickles. Next thing you knew, he had an entire garage full of pickle jars and didn't know what to do with them. So he started talking to people. Next thing you know, his pickle jars are in grocery stores across the country.
And I
probably not next thing you know. There's probably a lot in between there.
There's a lot in between, but it's just a great, you just got to start small, and then you build and you build and you build and you build, and you just don't know where that might take you. And if you have a vision, like Ben and I feel like that vision can happen as long as you start taking the steps forward.
Do something today.
Right. Quit waiting.
Yep. And it took some convincing to get Brittany to quit waiting.
It did. Because it's money.
It is money. It was an investment. Like this is not cheap to do. Like a lot of people think, oh, you're making wine at home, you're going to save money.
You might save money if you're keeping it for yourself. And that's like your normal consumption, right? Like if you normally consume X amount, okay, per bottle, it does work out to be a little bit cheaper, but that's a lot of wine for one person. Because we wanted varieties too. Like we didn't want just Merlot. We wanted to be able to have a bunch of different wines to try, and I like to pair it with different foods. So that's when we realized, well, what if we start giving it away? And at first it was just going to be to like family and friends. And then Ben is the one that came up with, well, no, what if we get people to kind of come together and we can pick areas on this map. Like, he had that vision, and I'm just so happy that we did it, because I think we made a lot of people's day yesterday, which also made my day. Like, it made my day to see them super excited to get their bottle of wine. And we're getting feedback, so whenever we dropped the wine off, we would send them a link, so that way they could give us feedback, and it could be totally anonymous. So if you want to say something with like constructive criticism, you don't have to worry like who it came from, even though that's what we want.
Yeah.
Really, we want your honest opinion, but we have such great feedback coming in, and that feels good, seeing the fruits of our labor, and that people also enjoy it like we do.
We take the fruits of our labor and make wine out of them. I'm gonna make a t-shirt that says that. That's my favorite sentence.
You should remind people, because there might be someone who didn't watch the other podcast.
What?
About how we decided wine was our shit.
Oh, to make a long story short, we sucked all the fun out of January trying to get in shape and penny pinch and get our budget in order and like trim all the fat. Like we cut all of our spending.
Like
January,
like seriously.
Zero fun.
Only necessities.
Yeah. January sucked. Early February, we were like, screw it, let's go out, let's do our thing. Brittany and I love going to farmers markets, we love antiquing, and we love drinking wine and going to wineries. We did all three of those things in one day. After we walked out of the first winery, we did a tasting. After we walked out, Brittany just goes, my favorite sentence in the world. What was it? Who are we kidding? This is our shit. And I was like, it is our shit. You're absolutely right. Well, who are we kidding? This is our shit. Let's look up how to make wine right now.
Yeah.
2 days later, we had a fermenter. We had Merlot grape juice. Like, we were ready to go.
We were rocking. Yeah, for sure. It was just, I think that's just what it took. And the other thing, too, is...
It was an epiphany, almost.
It really was.
It was like, you know what? This is our shit. Like, who are we kidding? Like, we don't need... to like fool ourselves. Like, if this is what we love to do, why don't we lean into it? Why don't we take it and run with it?
Yeah.
And that's what we're doing.
And we've been happy ever since. I mean, we've been working like nonstop. We cannot turn. We keep saying, let's take Sunday afternoon and just breathe.
And then we end up going, so what do you think if we made this wine? Like, it's just so much fun.
And I'm like, what do you think if we made the Niagara label like a teal blue?
And I'm like, ooh, yeah. Should I get my computer and start designing it right now?
Like, yes, right now. So, but it doesn't feel like work because it's a passion. Sorry, there's little breadcrumbs on the stool for my children.
Oh, that's okay. This table's probably dirty from the kids.
Probably.
But yeah, it's very. We actually got some donations coming in too, which is amazing. Like Rob Colin, Terry Smith, the Clara Nichols and Ben Nichols. Stephen Halseel. Who else? There's a bunch. Andy Vinarski. Yeah. Like, we got donations rolling in. Like, we just went to the wine store and purchased the things that they bought for us. Like, we got 4 fermentation buckets, and we got like some acids, some ingredients to make the wine. So like, thanks to those people, that's incredible.
Yeah, thanks to those people, we'll have another batch here soon. We'll probably start that maybe tomorrow or Tuesday.
Blackberry.
Mondays are always stressful, but
Tuesday we'll do it.
We'll squeeze it in, I'm sure.
I'm sure we will.
We get excited.
So like that's pretty much where we're coming from with the whole wine thing. Like, that's how it started. That's our vision, and you know, nobody makes something and doesn't want to share it. So that's why we're just like doing it. We're doing it for free. Like, there really isn't any strings attached. You just sign up, and if you get selected in your area, like, you get free wine. That's pretty much it. We're not allowed to sell it. If you donate to us, thank you. We will buy wine supplies with your money, but we cannot promise you wine in exchange for a donation. I wish we could, but that's the laws of Pennsylvania, and I'm pretty sure the whole country.
Probably.
You can't do that.
Yeah. So we are being careful, but what we're doing is just we're sharing and building our dreams, so that way one day we can share it with more people. And
and we're naming our fermentation vessels and our carboys after people that donated.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have a bunch of names on all of our stuff.
And I think we're gonna put some on labels, right?
Yeah. If they donate, I forget how much, we'll put their name on the bottle, because then they bought it. Like if they buy us grape juice, then their name goes on the bottle.
Right.
Right. I feel like that's fair.
I think so too.
Yeah.
So we're excited, and I think it's cool that we're making it community involved. You know what I mean? It's, I don't know. I just think it's way better when we can get all that feedback now versus waiting until we open our doors and then find out our vision sucks. Find out that nobody else loves our bottles like we do.
Right.
We just don't know.
Yeah. So.
And I think too, I love watching the girls watch us do it. You know, because they're just learning, like, hey, if you have a dream, just chase after it.
Get it.
And they're constantly shown that every day between real estate, your music career, and then us now making wine. And they understand why we're doing it. And, you know, Kinsley now, she, like, every time she gets paper, she makes little scrolls.
Yeah, she does.
And she gives them to people as little gifts, like her little rolled up paper scroll with a tape. It's super adorable. So I love seeing that those values are being instilled in them. And I think if you're watching this, you probably also have a dream that you've been thinking about, and I think it's time to take the steps forward and chase after it, and you know, tell your kids to do the same. Like find that passion and just go for it.
Yeah, we will forever fight the 9 to 5.
Forever.
Plain and simple.
Just like Chris and Steve.
Just like Chris and Steve. Yeah. Once again, Chris and Steve Myers are they're good people. They sell books. If you guys have books to get rid of, give me a call, and I will set you up with somewhere to take them. Awesome.
Yeah.
So, thank you guys for watching. Now you know everything about where we're coming from with this wine thing and this BG Wines, and thank you for participating. If you signed up, thank you, and we'll try to get wine to you as soon as we can. Let your friends and neighbors know so your area is concentrated, and we'll be on our way. And if you haven't signed up, go ahead and sign up. There's no strings attached. You just might get free wine, and you might not. We'll make as much as we can, and the people that are donating, thank you, because our operation has literally doubled since we opened up the donations. So thank you guys so much. We want to be the first ever customer-built winery. And it's pretty cool. It's amazing.
Yeah, I love that. And also, you know what, if you are kind of in a startup like we are,
let us know.
If you have questions that you just need help with, like, reach out, because if we've crossed that hurdle, I would love nothing more than to help you get over that hurdle too. So
absolutely,
if it's down to like customer management or, you know, what accounting stuff are you using, like, don't hesitate to reach out. We'd love to help.
Absolutely. We love startups. We love supporting local community and anybody who's going after what's important to them. So thank you guys for watching, and Ben and Brittany out.
That's
drink more BG wine. For free. See you guys.